Welcome into a very special edition of the Desmond Johnson Show here on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, tobaccoroadsportsradio.com. Make sure you rate and subscribe to the YouTube channel over at youtube.com/at Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Got a reunion of sorts. The former franchise players, co-host Ryan Stone and JP Mundy in the house. We invited JP on. It was originally going to be just Ryan doing best bets, getting you ready for NFL divisional round, the national championship on Monday, everything else. And then right when we were going off the air yesterday, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin decided to step down, and the world doesn't know the text thread that the three of us have, where literally JP each week like clockwork is calling for the end of the Mike Tomlin era, and he finally got it. So I was like, "Come on in."
He had about a week break after the Lions game where he was back on board, I think.
We'll literally give you a soapbox. You can kind of carry on why this was a good decision, because I think me and Ryan are kind of like, what are they doing? Like, how did they get to this point? Well, Ryan might be indifferent. I'm a Panther fan, so I'm like an envy, like, oh, you got wins every season. Like, oh no, it's such a bad thing. So we'll get into that, and we'll get some bets from Ryan, and then we've got Wassup Doug and content creators from the Panthers from online, as we're at the end of the season for the Panthers. They'll review the season with us and basically give grades. So let's go ahead and run the intro. It's the Desmond Johnson Show. It's a Wednesday edition. Let's go.
Live with Desmond Johnson, son, the live is one. Represent NC to the fullest.
Yeah, welcome to the Carolinas. Everywhere you go, the sky is Carolina blue, the finest. Live action, feedback, the city need that. I've been number one, no cap. Here's the recap. Adrenaline is my addiction. I'm about to relapse. Step on the turf if you won't and get your weed whack. I'm going harder than a martyr on the starter end. It's the heart of man, that's a rap like a cardigan. I'm breaking records, it's 4th and inches, I count the seconds. The over-under's my roar of thunder, my secret weapon. Yeah, the game is to be told. I don't break, I break modes. Follow me on Tobacco Road.
Live with Desmond Johnson, son, the live is one. Represent NC to the fullest.
And welcome into the Desmond Johnson Show, brought to you by Nikki Rottweiler at Head Realty Group EXP. A loaded show, loaded week this week as we get you ready for NFL divisional round, one of the best weekends of the year, and a little game called the College Football National Championship that'll be on my birthday, Monday, January the 19th, coming up here next week. So before we get into that, though, again, right as we were ending our live feed yesterday, I got up out of the studio and I walked around the corner, and on my television was ESPN and a big thing going, Mike Tomlin officially steps down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, to which I unleashed an array of curse words and things of that sort, because I was like, I literally just got off the air and walked around the corner and they're sitting there talking about it. So, of course, the first person we thought of was JP. Yep. He praised God and everything else on our text feed that this has happened. And as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you know what, JP? I think you're the main one whenever on Believe in Panthers, whenever I mention Steeler fans and like what they're going through, I'm actually talking about you. I'm literally describing you. Like when we're talking about it, walk me through your emotions when you found out that Mike Tomlin, who was your head coach for 18 years,
19
years. Oh, it was Harbaugh with the 18. The longest tenured coach in the NFL active is no longer the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach.
It's completely frustrating, because we all like Mike Tomlin as a man, a leader of men, and a coach. There is absolutely no doubt that he was in full control of the locker room for 19 years. His players all loved him and respected him. And, you know, he was very, very good at keeping the group together. He made the playoffs with some sort of, it was Mason Rudolph and some guy named Duck at one point.
Duck Hodges.
Yeah. So
he made a chicken salad, is what you're saying.
But that's kind of the problem, though, right? He was still making the playoffs with those guys. Like, and then when he got to the playoffs, he didn't have enough ammo to really go further for like a decade. I think I read it on the show yesterday. Pittsburgh set a new NFL record with their loss this past weekend, they're the first NFL team to lose 5 straight playoff games by double digits.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, because everything that got clouded up, the national media is responsible for harping on the narrative that Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. Well, that's great. His lifetime regular season winning percentage is just over 600.
I saw that yesterday. I was actually,
his playoff winning percentage is 400.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay. So if the standard is, hey, you want to make the playoffs, win conference championships, and have a shot in the Super Bowl, that's pretty much where the Steelers organization is. It's an older organization. It's been that way since the mid-'70s. That's where the standard is, I guess, is supposed to be. But he keeps on saying, and for years he would say, the standard is the standard and it all falls on me every year. And I'm like, last 3 years, and we've got the text receipts on our group chat.
Yeah.
To prove it. I'm like, is the standard really the same standard now?
No.
Because I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers standard, their goal right now is to make the playoffs, which is the same goal as the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers are right now in a better.
We enjoy winning games in the regular season, like playoffs. Like, wait, nah.
But what I'm saying is, the goals of both organizations are the same, and they shouldn't be. And right now, the Panthers are in a better situation than the Steelers are. I have no problem saying that. Even your beloved Buccaneers are in a better situation than the Steelers are right now.
Maybe not with Mike Tomlin as the head coach, but
No.
talent-wise, yes.
I did have it in here.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
So what do you do now? Because the problem is that Mike Tomlin was not a bad coach. So he never had you in a situation where you could bottom out, which is the reason why you're having problems now, because you don't have a franchise quarterback. Like, you really lucked into Ben Roethlisberger because you picked him in the 20s. Like, that wasn't really supposed to happen. You're not supposed to get a 15-year starter at pick 23 or whatever it was in that first round. He's never been so bad that you've bottomed out where you could get a franchise quarterback. And I feel like if he did, it would have tainted his whole thing to begin. Because you're right. That was his whole thing. You know, we're not losing seasons here in Pittsburgh or whatever, but they haven't won
a solution
game in 10 years.
I have the solution. And I realized it this morning what the solution was. On the day that Ben Roethlisberger became Pittsburgh Steelers, I was at Heinz Field. I was inside the stadium for Steelers Fan Fest. It's the only time I've ever been to Heinz Field, or what is it, in the Acrisure Stadium, whatever. Never win a playoff game again. Stadium.
Catch up something. Yeah.
Yes. I was there. Ryan, where is the NFL draft this year?
It's in Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
And where are the Steelers picking? 19th, 20th?
Probably, yeah. If they win playoffs, yeah.
I think
maybe so, something around there.
Yeah.
So,
I think Carolina's picking 19, so they're probably
Pittsburgh
right
would be
around
right behind them.
that. See, again, boy, that makes me itch. I'm happy for Carolina, and I'm happy that the fans have something to look forward to. I was more because you guys both know I was hopping mad Monday night.
Yeah, you were not.
I was not very Christian about the whole thing. I do think that obviously it's not all Mike's fault. I think we're in an Andy Reid type situation where at the end of 19 years, when you've had the success or you've got the numbers that you do, Mike Tomlin has had a lot of power and a lot of sway. And he was very stubborn in some sense that, you know, they ran off Bruce Arians as the offensive coordinator and hired Matt Canada. And, you know, all three of us are better offensive coordinators than Matt Canada. And then we've got Arthur Smith, whom I just found out that as we're going to air, Mr. Rooney was having a press conference, and he said that nobody in the building was a candidate for the head coach.
Okay, I was about to say, because it sounded like Arthur Smith might be a candidate yesterday. I was like, he's got my interview.
He's got 2 interviews today, as a matter of fact, with the Titans and somebody else. But I think that what worked so long during the Cowher and worked so well during the Cowher and the early Tomlin years were that, and it used to frustrate you, Desmond, is that no matter who Pittsburgh picked, they always panned out. They were a great developmental franchise. And somebody, I forget who the author is, forgive me, but it's on ESPN.com today. If you're a Steelers fan, it's worth checking out because you can see how that reputation eroded over the last little while. Now, they've had some recent good drafts, but a lot of the players on the field Monday night were free agent pickups, and they compared and contrasted that to, who was on the field the last time they won a playoff game, and all but two were homegrown talents as far as developmental. So I think it's a mixture of needing a new voice in the room, some stubbornness as to what Steeler football is going to look like, because offensively, that was some 1988 stuff that we were watching.
So do you think
without
Tomlin,
the throws downfield?
Well, I guess he kind of has to. I kind of answered the wrong question because he's contracted through 2027. So whoever tried to go sign him or whatever this year, they'd have to deal with the Steelers. They'd have to give up picks or whatever. Kind of like a Sean Payton situation when he went to Denver. They had to give stuff to the Saints or whatnot, even though he was on TV for like a year.
And Mr. Rooney said today, additionally, that it sounded to him, it was expressed to him that Coach wanted to take some time off and was not looking towards coaching in the near future.
I felt like he was burnt out. Like that's what it felt like for most of the year. It just sounded like he was burnt out. I got guys in the green room. I got to get to stick around, JP. Ryan is our best bets aficionado here, and the NFL schedule is looking pretty good for the divisional round this weekend. These lines are brought to you by DraftKings. I don't even know why I said that. It's not like they're sponsoring the show, but yeah, the lines are the lines are through DraftKings. Go over to FanDuel because that's what we have to believe, and place your bets over there. Ryan, Buffalo at Denver, who apparently no one believes in, the one seed in the AFC. It's 4:30 p.m. on CBS. Thoughts on this matchup? The line is Denver by 1.5, even though they're at home. Actually, that changed because Buffalo was favored like a day or two ago, I thought.
Yeah, it's moved a little bit. It's kind of gone back and forth. I mean, I think it's a matter of, do you like the better team or do you like the better quarterback? Because certainly Denver has the coaching edge, but do you trust Bo Nix? Because my answer is going to be no.
Yeah.
And I do trust that Josh Allen can do enough to beat this Broncos offense by himself. But what I would do in this case is tease Buffalo up to plus 7.5, parlayed with
that notepad, JP. Yeah,
with teasing the Texans up to plus 9.5 in their game with the Patriots.
Patriots.
I think,
up to plus 7
games.
Plus 7,
plus 7.5. Yeah, either one's fine. And then plus 9 or plus 9.5 for the Texans. I think both games will be close.
The Texans visit New England, who I trust more than Denver. That's Sunday at 3:00 on ESPN and ABC, live from Foxborough. That line is New England -3 right now. Back to Saturday, San Francisco at Seattle. I kind of trust San Francisco more than do Seattle, even though San Francisco's playing with third-string guys and dudes off the street. Like it's I think Shanahan is coach of the year, like for what he's done. But
he's been incredible.
The team to where they are. I don't know half the dudes they're playing. Christian McCaffrey is the main thing they have left, really.
It's kind of the same situation as the game we were just talking about. I certainly trust Brock Purdy more. Mm-hmm. I trust Shanahan more in terms of coaching, but McDonald's never really been in this spot. But Seattle's clearly the better team. I like the under. I think these two teams played 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, second to last week of the season, and there were 16 total points scored.
There he goes again with the unders.
It opened at 47.5, and it's come down now. I took it at under 47.5, so I like the under. I think it's a low-scoring game, and I do not trust Sam Darnold enough to put any kind of money on him. But injuries for San Francisco at some point are going to catch up. So that's where I kind of no play on the side there for either team.
I am starting to feel like whoever comes out of the NFC is going to be out of the NFC West, and I'm starting to think it might be the Rams. So although again I wouldn't bet against the Niners, they're one of the hottest teams in the league, and they're doing it with smoke and mirrors and really good play calling by Kyle Shanahan. I got to put that in there because he is scheming up stuff. I'm just like, oh, that's really creative. Like, what you just did right there? I've not seen that before. When you have somebody like Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, though, he was 6th in catches this year in the entire league. Wow. He had like 104 catches or something nuts. Like, he's literally better than most wide receivers. So
what's insane is he's not in the MVP discussion, really.
Right. Yeah. And this is the part of the season where I kind of look around and I go, why did Carolina trade him away again? I can't remember what it was that was going on.
What's a good over for his receptions, Ryan? Because you owe me some reparations for Tennessee +5.
I'd have to look at what his line currently is.
That is 8:00 on Fox on Saturday, San Francisco at Seattle. And then
probably pretty good.
And then finally Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on NBC and Peacock, the Rams are going up to Chi-Town at Chicago. The line is the Rams, the visiting team, the Rams by 3.5. The over-under is 48.5 right now.
No play on this game. The weather is supposed to be brutally cold. Matt Stafford's never been that guy in cold weather. He always struggled outside when he was in Detroit. Plays in L.A. now. So I'm not taking a side there. I don't have a play on that game. And it's something about this damn Bears team. They have a horseshoe that will not come out of there, you know what.
They shouldn't even be here. I went to bed at halftime of that Green Bay game, and I was like pretty confident that I was going to wake up the next morning knowing the outcome. I wake up, I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, it just fell apart.
That's what happened.
Chicago I think they lead the league in like fourth quarter comebacks or something this year, something crazy. Caleb Williams, I guess he's truly proven he can be a number one quarterback.
They're bought in. They're bought into their coach.
That fourth down throw he made was
he throws some darts. I'll give him that. He's got all the tools. He just needed somebody there to believe in him. And Ben Johnson's a damn good coach. So I just don't trust the Bears. I don't trust any of these teams, to be honest. I've been saying it for months. I don't trust there's not one team in the playoff field where I'm like, that's the team to follow.
I said this last weekend before the playoffs kicked off. You could play these playoffs 7 times and get 7 different champions.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, just looking at the ones that are left, I'm like, do you really trust Denver?
On the right day. I mean,
do you really trust Seattle? They're the 1 seeds. Like, you know, like what it really is. We're so used to having a Death Star where everyone's kind of aiming at it. Usually it's Kansas City. Like everyone's aiming to get this out of here, and they never do. And this year we don't have one, and that's why I'm like, this has got to be the year Buffalo does this, because it's the only opportunity Lamar Jackson's going to have, or not Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen's going to have, where there's no Lamar Jackson, no Pat Mahomes, no Joe Burrow. Those guys are not in here, and you got to do it all on the road. But that just writes the legend of Josh Allen, right? Like
going on the road. Too much pressure on that guy. There's
Josh
too
Allen?
much pressure on that guy because he's throwing to Bob Smith and Ryan Stone and
He's
JP
Cam
Money.
Newton. He's Cam Newton 2.0. Like literally, they've done the exact same thing that it was with Cam. Cam didn't have anybody. He was throwing it to Fozzie Whitaker and Ted Ginn Jr. and you know what I mean, like, and got him to a Super Bowl.
You're right.
He might have, but Josh Allen might have a worse defense. To be honest.
Yeah, he might. Yeah. He doesn't have a Luke Kuechly on the other side, like directing traffic and stuff.
I also, in terms of the NFL playoffs, I like the under in Houston and New England. I think that's a low-scoring rock fight game.
40.5.
I just don't think they'll score a ton of points there.
That might be the 2 best defenses left besides Seattle. So yeah, all right. So I got to get you guys out. I've got some guys in the green room waiting, but appreciate JP taking a little bit of his precious time to come in and vent about Mike Tomlin, and he's gone now. Do you have a candidate for who you want to come in? Do you have a favorite? You can't use Kurt Signetti. Like you can't get him. Like
I don't. I've heard that. Oh God, what's his name? Flores, Brian Flores. Was highly respected in the in the building. I don't care. I don't care. Change is good. So
take it from me. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's frustrating to watch them change every 9 months. I just went through that. So I hope you're not about to go through the cycle I just went through, because I don't have to hate
at all. And if they take 3 years I give them 3 years. I don't have to worry about it for the next 3 years. And I am not. I made it through an entire segment. I didn't have to switch to Silky Johnson.
I was going to say, wait, wow, and they really got you beaten down, man. You're willing to wait 3 years to see if this works out?
Well, yeah, I'd like to see what happens. They've got to undergo some changes. Bring the offense into the new millennium.
The way that they can do it kind of quick. Trade TJ Watt, trade Jalen Ramsey, trade DK Metcalf, and just get a bunch of picks.
Bare bones. And just strip that thing bare and just go to work. Because, I mean, especially in the division you're in, it's not like they're going to compete next year. Like, Lamar's going to be healthy next year. I don't know if the Bengals are going to help Joe Burrow or not. Probably not. But and Cleveland just needs to decide if they want one quarterback or – you know what I mean? Like, it's not really – they've got a defense. So, all right, let me get you guys out here. So that's Ryan Stone. That's JP Mundy, former franchise players, co-hosts, Tobacco Road alumni in the house. And we're going to go ahead and switch them out and bring in some Panther content creators. Now that the season's over, I wanted to bring in some content creators to talk about the season from a fan's perspective, basically. We got Alex Bryant in the house, and we got What's Up Doug in the house. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up, y'all? Dougie Doug, me and you on the same show?
Oh, Doug, you're muted. Doug's muted.
Hey, what's going on, Alex?
There it is. What's going on, fellas? So I wanted to bring you guys on, and I talked about it before, and I was like, as soon as the season's over, I'll probably start bringing in content creators to be able to just give us their views on the season. Now that we're a couple days away from Saturday's spectacle, really good wild card game. Panthers, I think they didn't let any of us down. Give me your thoughts on what you saw Saturday, first of all, in terms of being a Panther fan and what it meant to see, Cam Newton beating the drum, Jake Delhomme, Wesley Walls, Moose was there, Steve Smith hyping the crowd at the pregame, Stu, my guy Stu was there. Like, all these Panther greats and legends all in one spot. It felt like it juiced the building, and it kind of gave us what we saw on Saturday. Give me your thoughts on what you saw Saturday night and how you felt leaving that game. We'll start off with you, Doug.
For me, I feel like this is what Dan Morgan wanted. Like he said, whenever he became a GM, he wanted that playoff energy back in Charlotte. When during his playing days, during Cam Newton days, for me, for people that were boots on the ground, they said that in the very first quarter, it felt like the building, like the stands were shaking again, like that 2015 days when we had the NFC Championship game. Just how I felt the season was, this is how the game went, roller coaster, up and down. It was basically like a thrill. It was like a thriller of a movie. You know how you have different categories. It was action and a thriller. And it was kind of bittersweet because, again, we really saw the offense actually click. But then, as we know what the defense always does, if the bend don't break. But when you give Matthew Stafford, one of the MVP candidates, probably possibly the leading candidate, depending on who you ask, 2 minutes and 35 seconds, we left too much time on the clock. And that's one thing when we scored, I was like, should we have scored that quickly? I wanted us to kind of milk it, but it's not guaranteed that we would have got in the box. But for me, just the environment, from the entertainment level, from the product on the field, I don't think anybody that's a Panther fan could ask for anything better on display than what we had this past Saturday.
A far cry, Alex, from where we were 2 seasons ago, where the Panthers were basically giving away tickets and people still weren't coming to the arena. And it got to the point where it was really, really sad. And that was probably our lowest point in this whole David Tepper ownership journey. Your thoughts on Saturday? Because that seems to be the peak so far of the David Tepper journey for what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought did anybody expect us to win the Super Bowl? No, we weren't going to win the Super Bowl. For me, I think it's the Rams-Bills in the Super Bowl. I think I probably picked the Bills over the Rams in that case. But regardless, the Rams are a contender to me. And to lose to, and it's not that the refs didn't beat us. We got beat by a great coached, well quarterback team in the final minute of the game. I'd much rather go out that way than go out 20-10 to San Francisco or whoever we play next week, Seattle or whatever. I think it was the perfect case scenario. I think every single person that lost the Rams for the Panthers last week can go into the off season and say, we played with them. We should have beaten them. We're on par with anybody else in the league. I think the fans feel the same exact way. And I think that's the way that I wanted to go into the offseason, as people can't beat us. We're the team. We're going into our offseason just like the Legion of Boom did when they had that 11-win team before they won the Super Bowl. Like, we had that sort of momentum, and I'd much rather go in with that momentum than having the rest steal it from us next week, or have some we didn't play well or something like that, and take some of that momentum away.
That makes a lot of sense. I
feel
kind
that
of felt
right
like,
now, and I think that I think the fans feel that.
yeah, that's kind of how I left it too, where it was like, I can't even be mad at that.
Yeah.
That was my feeling when I left that game, because it was like, it was a perfect throw from Matthew Stafford, who may be league MVP. And it was a perfect catch by that tight end to keep his feet in bounds and to get in. I've seen a lot of fans talking about Ejiro Evero and his defense and why were they playing prevent. They had guys that were 8-9 yards off the wide receivers. And to be honest, what I tell them is that they didn't want to get beat on one throw. Like, they didn't want Stafford to throw over the top of the defense. You got to keep in mind, J.C. Horn was in the medical tent, like, during that last drive with a possible second concussion of the year. So, like, he wasn't going to probably get back in that game. Mike Jackson, there's only one of them. So, like, at that point, Matthew Stafford was literally just throwing underneath the zone coverage until he got close enough to drop in that dime in the end zone. Wasn't a whole lot Carolina was going to be able to do about it, because, again, if they played up tight, which they hadn't been doing all game,
it was always off coverage. I mean,
yeah, it was all
not
zone.
off zone, but when you give a tight end or wide receiver 10 yards off the ball, well, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, we've been knowing that all season.
And
Only
they-
corner. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, the Panthers were up 4, so they knew that, it's fine
They
to
had
do
to
that when
score.
you're not giving up a field goal. You got to score a touchdown. So, like, they were like, we'll let you get all the way down the field, but when it gets closer and tighter, where that zone isn't going to be so far away from everything, you're going to have to really fight to get in here. And like, it was just a good throw. And I've told people all year when they complain about Ejiro or somebody that, they could have did this or did that from their couch, I'm like, you got to understand the other team gets paid too. Like, sometimes the other team just makes a play, like that happens. It's football. So I couldn't really be too upset about it. I want to talk to you about Rico Dowdle, because that's been a topic of conversation with the fans. Some people think that he's gone. Some people think that we don't need him. Your thoughts on Rico? Should the Panthers try to make an offer to keep Rico? I've heard the Jonathan Brooks stuff, and my saying has always been, Jonathan Brooks hasn't played meaningful football in 2 years. Like, he's torn his ACL twice. We don't know exactly what he's going to be. I will say my partner Jonathan Stewart from Believe in Panthers, he told me earlier this week on our show that he's seen Jonathan Brooks in the building a lot. He's been at every Panther game this season, and he said he's just been working, like, he's just working, trying to get better, and he seemed pretty confident he's going to be ready for OTAs. So, having said that, back to the Rico situation. Did Rico get overrated because those 2 games where no one really had tape on him and he ran for 200+ yards in both of them, and then he kind of trailed off after that? Was he hurt? Did they just trust Chuba more? What are your thoughts on the Rico Dowdle situation, and would you pursue him? It's almost like a Deonta Foreman situation that we had a couple years ago. Almost exactly the same type of deal. What would you guys do with him, with Rico? Alex,
So you want to go, or you want to go?
You
Okay.
start out.
It depends on it just depends on cost. We can create so much cap. The Icky situation really killed us. It really did, because we allocated cap to him on a 5th-year option already. We're just going to eat that. That sucks. We'll get some of that back with him being on IR. So we got to take that money from somewhere. I'm sure they had a plan. If it's the right cost, I'd say we can give him a 1-year solid deal. If the market isn't great for him, I think the market's going to be pretty good for him. I think we're just going to lose out in the bidding war. I would try to keep him, but I don't. We need a pass catching back. Like, yes, Chuba. We're running Chuba as our pass catching back. Like, that's not. He needs to be our one, like, first or second down back. We need Jonathan Brooks back. We need ETN to step up and be a solid contributor for us. I would take him back, but I don't think we're going to have the cap room for it, because I think that the Icky situation has taken some of that cap away.
Yeah, and he tore a patella tendon, I believe. He's probably going to miss the entire 2026 season. You're right. They just give him his 5th-year extension, fully guaranteed, earlier in the year. And Icky had really turned around over the past 2 years from when he got drafted to when that happened Saturday, where the fans were really against him, and they had started to. When you don't mention offensive linemen, I mean, they're doing a good job. And they had started to not mention Icky a lot, which meant he was doing okay. And he was really starting to anchor that left tackle spot. Doug, your thoughts on Rico? What would you do if you're Dan Morgan? Do you really try to pursue him or not? Especially considering the comments Rico made after the game, where it sounded like he already took the Panthers off the social media. So I don't think he's planning on sticking around.
So that's the reason why you drafted Trevor Etienne, regardless of this, because it was a 1-year rental. Then you had a running back in Jonathan Brooks, unfortunately got hurt, tore the same ACL that he tore in Texas. So really, if you just read body language, you look at how the season went, our running back room as a whole didn't help themselves. Chuba came back. He said he was hurt. He felt like Rico Dotto was taking the snaps. Then, lo and behold, Rico Dotto gets hurt. Chuba's back healthy. So one back said that they were healthy. They were not healthy. They got a lot of reps. Then the running back that had, like you said, those, I'll say 3. I'm not even going to say 2. But the 200-yard games he did have against Miami and Dallas, but still, it was like that 4-game stretch that he had a great stretch of games. He got hurt. So then he even came out and said, hey, I don't know why, I lost my reps, but I wasn't told why. There was no explanation. But it didn't help where I live in Dallas, him being here in Dallas, and the same exact thing happened to him when he was here in Dallas. They brought another back in, and he wants to be the bell cow. I think there could have been some language or conversation knowing that, hey, this is a 2-back system. Chuba Hubbard is our lead back. We want you to play second fiddle. But when Chuba got hurt, it looked like Rico Dotto was that thunder and lightning and that bolt to really get the offense rolling. And you can tell it's a different pace with the game when he was running. But to fast forward, like you said, Desmond, I really think that I wouldn't say he's gone, but I don't think he wants guaranteed I'm the starter.
Yeah.
He wants that in contract money. And again, Alex said, are you going to play the money game with him? You already have Chuba Hubbard in the contract. You already got ETN in contract, and you got Brooks in contract.
Both of them are rookie contracts on top of that, too. So
that's what I'm saying. But I do think we are going to bring in an extra running back because you got to look at it. If Jonathan Brooks is not healthy, you only have 2 running backs on this roster. So is that going to be Rico Dotto? I don't. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll put it as a confidence level as a 3, not even a 4. So we just got to wait and see what's going to happen.
It feels like the best version would be for Dan Morgan to spend a 2nd or a 3rd round draft pick on another running back as insurance in case Jonathan Brooks can't get back. People forget Jonathan Brooks might have been the best running back in that draft.
He was
when we got him, So he was a Heisman candidate for part of that season. So, and then we saw a little bit of him last year right before he got hurt again. And what we saw, it was kind of like, oh, okay, this might work because he was kind of doing what Rico was doing. So now I don't think Dan Morgan would re-sign him. I think that was the whole reason he got a 1-year deal in the first place. If they really wanted him longer than 1 year, he would sign to 2 years or 2 with an option for a 3rd or something to that effect. Him doing 1 year, to me in my mind, meant he was a 1-year rental. Get your numbers up, kid, so you can get out and get a contract. And there's plenty of teams that could use a Rico Dowdle as their main back. I just don't think it's going to be Carolina, which is a little bittersweet considering he's from the state of North Carolina and played high school, football up in the mountains. So I think AC Reynolds, if I'm not mistaken, I think he played there. Talking with What's Up, Doug and Alex Bryant, Panther content creators. Follow them on X. Guys, give me your grade for the Panthers for the 2025 season, considering everything that we watched over the course of the year. We've seen a lot of highs. We've seen a lot of lows. They lost 3 of their last 4 games, but win the NFC South, backing in thanks to the Atlanta Falcons. And then they put up that game on Saturday, which kind of put a bow on everything. Give me your overall grade for what you saw from the Panthers and your thoughts for the number one thing you think they need to go after here in the offseason for their roster. Doug, you can start that.
C+. Like I said, it's passing. I mean, does anybody really want a C+ on their report card? No, you pass, but I mean, you're looking for A's and B's, but again, that goes into the roller coaster of the season. You could have flat out won the NFC South depending on those first 2 games. I won't take the Jacksonville game because you look at Jacksonville, they made the playoffs. They won their division. That Arizona game, that's one that you're looking back at. One of those Saints games, that's another game you're looking back at. That's 3 games right there. Just winning one of those, you win the NFC South outright. Win 2 of those, you're looking at a different opponent possibly.
Yeah.
So for me, I think a C+ is being fair. It's not being too much optimistic, not being a Debbie Downer, but I think it's right in the middle the way the season went. Again, at that playoff game, is the way our team played outside of that last drive. If we had that consistently every single week, who knows what the season would be. But even with that playoff game, I will definitely lead it to a strong C+, almost going too close in that B range.
Okay, and then Alex, what do you give him grade for? And then I'll come back around to that last question about number one priority in your mind for the offseason. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, compared to expectation, I had this as a 9-10 win team coming into the season. They won 8 games, so it's a C to me. I to be generous, because of my expectations. If you're going to grade based on expectations, I just think we were young and we just did a lot of young, stupid things. I think Canales is still growing. I think Bryce is still growing, and I think the team just has a lot of talent, and they just did a lot of dumb, stupid things in crucial moments that lost them games. And I think they're going to take care of that in the offseason. I think they're going to grow. So it's a C for me, but it's with a positive mindset. As I think that they're taking momentum into next year, and they will hit expectations next year, even though they didn't this year.
So what was the grade again? You said
C. I give them a C.
So C minus. That sounds about right. Because I mean, hell, they were 8-9 teams, so they were basically kind of right there in the middle. Before I let you guys go, we haven't really turned our thoughts to, or maybe both of you guys have. We're now officially in the offseason. Dan Morgan gave his end of the season press conference yesterday with some pretty cool comments in there. He said that they're in win mode now. You know, they're the NFC South champion. There's no reason to hold back. They feel like they're a couple holes away for some things. And Dan's track record now through 2 off seasons has been pretty damn good in terms of what he's picked up, not just in the draft, but undrafted free agents. He seems to always find one every year where they make a huge contribution. Jalen Coker might have ended up being the MVP of that game if we had won on Saturday, just based off of his play. What's the one thing that you want the Panthers to prioritize in terms of roster building this offseason from what you saw this year that you feel like they might be lacking in? Doug, I'll let you go first on that too.
Real quick with a nugget with Dan Morgan, if you even go back to whenever he took this job as a GM, he said give him 3 years. He's in year 3 now. And a lot of people criticize me when I say this. I think we were overachievers in year 2. I really don't. Me personally, I understand people are saying, and I heard what Alice said, a 9-win team. Just the division just fell in our hands. It really did. I think year 3, with the money that you see that we're going to have left over, the money we're going to be able to use, and then the holes that we need to fix, definitely number 1 is going to be pass rush. But also, I do think we need that bona fide linebacker if we're going to stay in this 3-4, and Evero's that D coordinator. I also love whenever hearing in the exit interview, if Evero leaves, we could go back to a 4-3. And I think a lot of people are going to be happy if we do go back to a 4-3. So for me, I'm already start looking at prospects. I got some things coming here next week. So definitely stay tuned to myself, wherever you'll be able to see some possibly some live coverage, some interviews with possible prospects going into the draft. But I'm definitely focused on edge rushers and definitely linebackers this year for me.
Alex, what do you think? What's the number one thing in your mind they need to work on?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most important position is quarterback. The second most is left tackle. I think we got to get a left tackle. I mean, it sucks. He's gone. We gotta get a left tackle. I think that's by far the number 1 priority to me. And then I think we just got to get an electric person, whether it's out of the backfield, a tight end, just somebody just like a playmaker. Like I would love to have like a Luther Burden type this year, like to go into next year. Just somebody that can create stuff in space. We thought that could be Excel. Maybe Jonathan Brooks comes back and he's that sort of person. I like Coker and I like Tet as like possession receivers or guys that can win one-on-one matchups. But we need somebody like that can just make big plays. So I think would be my second tier, because I think that Gordon and Princely will develop. And I think Dan Morgan can always find linebackers somewhere. He just understands the position and he finds. So for me, it'd be left tackle and then a playmaker.
I do think Tet showed that he can be that guy that you were just describing at wide receiver. Because by the end of the year, teams were scheming to take him out of our offensive scheme. He's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. I can't think of someone else that's had a better year than him that was a rookie. I was going middle linebacker. I feel like Dan was waiting because Dan Morgan is chomping at the bit to get. I know we have Trevin Wallace, and Trevin Wallace is good, but I don't know if Trevin Wallace is the middle linebacker that we've become accustomed to as a Carolina Panther fan. Like, I mean, it's a large thing to live up to, from Sam Mills to Dan Morgan to John Beeson to Luke Kuechly. We don't have that. Any of that kind of whatever on the roster. And like, again, Trevor Wallace is fantastic, but he's not that. And I want
quarterback on defense.
Quarterback on defense. All four of those guys I just named were quarterbacks on defense. And I don't know if that linebacker exists. It's easy to say, yeah, I want another Luke Kuechly or whatever. Like Luke Kuechly grows on trees or whatnot. Luke Kuechly was a unicorn.
Right.
He doesn't normally happen. So if you can find someone that's just half as good as Luke Kuechly in terms of mindset and watching tape and athletic and get to the hole, and he's pissing off quarterbacks because he knows what they're doing before they even kind of know what they're doing sometimes. They need something like that, because in that game against the Rams, it felt like the middle of the field was just wide open. Like Roseman was playing too close to the line sometimes. Sometimes he was playing too far back, like from the line, and just left these gaps that Stafford just death by 1,000 cuts. And actually, I think we got lucky when Stafford hurt his hand and he missed like 7 or 8 passes in a row, because some of those passes should have been caught. Yeah, and they weren't, because he threw it at the ground or he threw it at somebody's legs or just came off funny. And then it apparently got his feeling in his hand back before the game was over again, because, again, that pass to the tight end was perfect. So if we had a middle linebacker like that that could direct traffic a little bit better, I think we'd be really good. Again, Trevor Wallace did get hurt and was out for the season the last, month or so, I guess. So, and he was starting to pick it up pretty well, because him and Rosenblum would switch spots like halfway through the season, and Rosenblum became more of a
coming off the ball,
stalk whoever's coming out the backfield type, which was the way he played with the Rams. And Trevor Wallace was learning how to play middle linebacker. I say all this because I'm remembering Shaq Thompson getting an interception this weekend for Buffalo. I'm like, damn, it could have been Shaq. We could have just held on to Shaq for a year and sent him on his way, and he could have learned under Trevin, or Trevin could have learned under him, which they were kind of doing this first year. I think it's a middle linebacker. I think Dan's been waiting for this moment to draft a middle linebacker, because you don't want to draft one like at number 7 or number 8, but we're going to be at 19?
19 is the
pick. You can move up a couple spots if there's somebody there you really want. You kind of want them right there in the teens, I guess, from 10 to 19, somewhere in there is where you're going to find that middle linebacker that you really, truly want. And Dan has proven he's not scared to move around the board to get what he wants. And plus, I know Dan, he'll get it back. He'll get those picks back later on in the draft or whatever, because the other thing we need is more depth. We handled a little bit this year, but last year we were running out of bodies. So they kind of handled the depth issue. This year, I think they're going to focus on defense in the offseason. They might still go get Bryce another toy. They've proven that they don't have a problem doing that either. And they did pick up, I just saw from Joe Person, they did pick up Bryce Young's 5th-year option.
Correct.
So
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. So that's good too. But we're going to get out of here. Again, follow these guys on X. They're great Panther content creators. Wassup, Doug and Alex Bryant. You can find them there. They're usually on pretty regularly with content. And as we get into the offseason for the Panthers, our focus will start to shift after the Super Bowl to the NFL draft, free agency, and everything else. And this is one of the few years recently where I'm actually looking forward to the offseason in terms of we don't have to worry about hiring a head coach or a GM or on a quarterback or whatever. Those seem, for the second year in a row, we're going into it with the same 3, and we're starting to get some stability in Charlotte. So that is good. Friday will be Matt Alquiza from Sports Illustrated. The Charlotte Hornets out here dropping 150 points on teams. We're going to talk about the Hornets and what exactly is going on in Charlotte, and can they actually turn this around and maybe make the playoffs? Doing really, really well. Con Knuppel, probably Rookie of the Year. We'll talk to him. And then had an exclusive interview with new Virginia Tech quarterback transfer Bryce Baker, who transferred out of UNC.
I don't even like that, Desmond. I knew, whenever you said quarterback, I'm like, bro.
What's wrong? Are you a Carolina fan?
I'm a Tar Heel fan, so
Bro, if you're a Carolina, I'm a Carolina fan too. And Bryce went to my alma mater, and I'm the voice of East Forsyth. And we taped it yesterday. And I wanted to talk to him about, I hadn't talked to an athlete. What is it like going through the portal? What was the situation? How did it go? Or whatever. And I've heard some things in terms of what's going on behind the scenes at Carolina in terms of what Belichick and Lombardi are doing. They're not really looking at film. They're just literally waiting for Alabama or Georgia to sign a player. And then they're just going to that player and outbidding them and bringing them in. And those guys aren't even fits for whatever. What are they running? We don't even know exactly what we're running.
I'm hoping this year, and I honestly look at, and I like I said, I know we're talking Panther, but when you look at our new OC though, I think you can look at the type of players that he needs in that scheme.
Well, the fact that Bryce and Gio transferred out
I'm glad Gio's gone. Like,
yeah, I know a lot of people are glad that Gio's
like Bryce Baker should have been the guy, but I
He
didn't
never
want
got
him
on
to
the
stay in the
field.
ACC.
That's the thing I can't figure out.
ACC.
I mean, I know that Belichick is a certain way about freshmen or whatever, but the other freshman quarterback got on the field. Bryce never got a chance to be on the field all year, which was crazy because he probably had the best arm out of all the quarterbacks that was there, you know? So he's going to Virginia Tech. He's linking up with my other guy, Quayshawn Brown, who transferred out of Duke, who's also East Forsyth alumni. They're going to be up at Blacksburg, and I got a chance to interview Bryce. So that's exclusive that we'll have Friday. And maybe Bryce answers some of those questions as to what happened, like why he decided to leave Carolina. But we'll have all of that. So we'll have some Hornets talk. We'll talk to Bryce on Friday, and we'll get you ready for your weekend. NFL divisional round. The one thing I was going to get you up before I get out. This week, every guest I've had, I asked them to make a pick. National Championship Monday, January 19th. Miami Hurricanes trying to regain glory that they have been missing for the past 20 plus years, taking on a very plucky Indiana team that has captured the hearts of America, apparently, with a bunch of 3-star players that that have banded together and are beating the brakes off of everybody. Who you got on Monday, Miami or Indiana in the national championship?
I mean, it's Indiana. I mean, yeah,
okay. Yeah, it seemed kind of matter of fact. It's going to be Indiana.
Yeah.
And now I don't think they've seen a defense like Miami, but it might not matter. Like sometimes teams just kind of have a rocket pack on their back, and Indiana feels like whatever sauce Cignetti put together, like it's working. Like
don't forget where their coach came from. He's a Nick Saban staple. So
yeah, all 4 of the Final 4 coaches came from the Nick Saban family tree. Mario Cristobal's from Nick Saban too. So I mean,
correct.
That's nuts in itself. I'm kind of rooting for the U. Because I'm old school. I'll be 48 on Monday, actually. And
happy early birthday, man.
Oh, appreciate it. I'm blessed to be here. And I remember the early 2000 Miami teams. Hell, I remember the 80s Miami teams. I want to get them to get back to that. That's why they got signed through the ACC in the first place, and it just never happened. So I'm kind of rooting for that, so the ACC can be like, yeah, SEC, Big Ten, blah blah blah. We're the national champs, though. You know, and this was a team that y'all didn't even know we're supposed to get in. Like y'all,
a lot of people are not going for Miami to get in. That's correct.
Yeah. And now they might win the whole damn thing. So it's like we'll see. And then Indiana would be a great story. So both of you guys are going for Indiana?
I mean, I'm
not going for them.
Or you think that's inevitable? Like,
no, honestly, Indiana should win. I think Indiana should win based off the story. I mean, I think just this weekend, I think their basketball team was playing. They were like, Indiana Hoosiers are known for basketball, but now they might be a football school.
They're basketball school, yeah. So now,
like I said,
as long as they can keep Cignetti, I don't see why he can't keep it rolling. So I don't know. So that's Monday, and that's on ESPN and ABC, the national championship. I think most of the people I've asked that have been guests this week, they've all kind of gone with Indiana. A couple from Miami. So it should be good. I'm going to check out some of it on Monday night. But we got to get out of here. We will be back Friday live, 12:30 p.m. with a brand new episode. Shout out to What's Up, Doug. Shout out to Alex Bryant. Shout out to JP Mundy and Ryan Stone for joining us today. We will see you guys on Friday.